What is going on, guys? Oxide here and welcome back. I hope you guys had a wonderful week. I gotta tell you guys, where I'm at, school is starting, and while it does blow to be back in school, I'm actually not that bummed that it has started again. It's always nice to see your friends again, and what I find as you get older, your friends start they start getting jobs, they start having to go places over the summer, and really what ends up happening, people come back from summer vacation, and they tell you that they had like a really good time, but really what they're telling you are just like a couple good stories. A lot of times what people just end up doing over the summer is just they work a ton, or they just sit around. So, I'm feeling optimistic for this year. I'm glad to see my friends back again, and I hope I'll be able to keep the content coming for you guys over the school year. Anyways, down to business. What you guys are seeing right now is some CTF on Settler. I'm not quite sure if this is post or pre-title update. In any case, it was a really long time ago, but I know that I end up getting at least a running riot and probably a rampage. I think I do get an overkill near the end, so stick around for that. I think I'm just going to dice it up into some highlights, because the match did end up running pretty long. But as you guys can tell from the title, what I want to talk to you guys about today is the Xbox One. I'm sure all you guys have seen that video of the Xbox One unboxing, and the YouTube video has something like a 40% dislike ratio on it. So obviously, that's probably mostly PS4 fanboys, but at the same time, it probably is a lot of dissatisfied customers, people that are playing on the Xbox 360 at the moment, which in the United States is the majority of people. Now, if you had told me a couple months ago, well, more than a couple of months ago, let's say a year ago, that Xbox One was going to be receiving so much hate, first of all, I would have been surprised to hear that its name was Xbox One. Obviously, that's kind of weird. But still, I'm not really sure why there's so much hate going around for the Xbox One. I mean, because they went back on their used game policies, right? And I feel like people are just really reaching for something to hate about it. And I think that ties to the fact that the PlayStation 4 with Sony at E3, they just really had their rockstar moment, and I think they really figured out a way to make people like them. I think that's one thing about Sony is that it doesn't feel so corporate as Microsoft does. Obviously, they're in it for the money, just like any other console maker. And I respect that. I understand that Sony definitely did have the better press conference. They definitely did a better job in marketing their product. But at the same time, I'm kind of resentful of them because a lot of what they did with the PlayStation 4 is kind of stuck in the past generation. There's not very much innovation. And because of that, that stuff that people like, because of that, Microsoft had to go back on their word, right? And we're losing a lot of really cool features that could have been standard on consoles but are no longer because Sony was stubborn and wanted to try to take over this corner of the market. I think one thing that Microsoft really suffered from was just the fact that the people that were watching E3 were just not very educated on what the features of Xbox One were going to be, and they just hadn't done very much research, which is understandable. I mean, most people don't want to sit around spending their day on Google trying to figure out stuff about the Xbox One, but still, that's not to say that there were some pretty interesting features that could have been on them. For example, with online licensing, you could play any game on any console without having to download it. So what that means is that, say you had bought Skyrim or something like that, you could go over to a friend's house and stream the game without having to spend the hours downloading it. And you could do that without having to pay a fee, right? All this was possible with the cloud. But in essence, most people didn't understand that this was going to be possible. They just thought that Microsoft was just completely banning borrowing games or playing them on other consoles. So because of that, people just hate Xbox One now, which I understand and I don't understand at the same time. I feel like there was just so much hype about used games, and to be honest, most people don't really borrow games on a regular basis. I mean, otherwise the game industry probably just wouldn't exist. People have to buy games for game developers to make money. Honestly, the only time I ever borrow a game is if it's only a single player game, for example, Assassin's Creed, something like that, where I know I'm not going to be spending too many hours on it comparatively to like a multiplayer game like Halo or Call of Duty. Not to say that I play a lot of Call of Duty, but still, that's a good example. But what I mean to say is just that I feel that Xbox One is just kind of too futuristic for what we have now. Obviously, its hardware is not like super powerful compared to like the top of the line PCs, but still, the ideas that Microsoft was putting forth, I think, were just too far past what people were willing to accept at the time, which is now. So a lot of people just seem to default to the classic kind of boring console, which is the PS4. Now I know that most of you guys are Halo players, of course, that's why you're watching this video. So most of you guys are probably going to want to buy an Xbox One, and the $500 price tag does make it a little bit more difficult. I think that's another way that Sony kind of got the upper hand on Xbox One, was just that it's so much cheaper. You know, $100 is a lot of money, and it's that much cheaper. And then Microsoft has to deal with the people in the tinfoil hats, you know, the people that are paranoid about the Kinect. First of all, I know I said this in the last video, you all have a cell phone in your pocket right now, don't deny it, okay? That thing could be recording your conversations, it could be like taking pictures if you have it out, so I just cannot comprehend why people freak out about a Kinect that's just watching one station of your living room. Not to mention that's just you like drooling out of the corners of your mouth while you're playing a video game, where they could be recording like everything in your life with your cell phone. You know, if you want to freak out about something, just Google NSA Verizon, okay? That'll show you that cell phones are really what you should be afraid of if you're afraid of privacy and everything. Anyways, guys, before I wrap this up, I just want to tell you guys the Xbox One sales are not really suffering that much. I'm not really sure how the PlayStation 4 is doing in comparison, but I know, I read this article, that the Xbox One is outpacing Xbox 360 sales, so that's a good thing. And you know, what it comes down to is that most of the people raging about the Xbox One are like the 14-year-olds, the 12-year-olds, the people that just want to be angry for no reason, and the people that aren't actually going to be buying the consoles themselves. You know, they're going to be asking their parents. So I think what it's going to come down to is just that the parents, you know, the Microsoft fanboys, because, you know, that's their generation, are going to want to buy the Xbox One, you know, and they want that entertainment value, they want like the Blu-ray player, they want the Kinect. So, you know, I still think that it's going to be a race, and it's still a mystery who is going to win. So we'll see. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. This is Oxide out.